I'm coming in from New Zealand, and Lindsay is in LA. So I've been known Jacinda for quite a long time, but I think, as you say, around the world, not just in the political sphere, we need to see examples of different types of leadership, because we've often seen then, and now is the case too, that power is often rewarded when it comes with force, and we really strongly believe that there's a different way to lead. So Lindsay and I came together to help tell Jacinda's story, and we had incredible access to footage that you would never normally get of a world leader, and so it was a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, and we're very privileged and grateful to be part of it.
How much is a Prime Minister a tribute to Ardern's empathy and compassion?
Yeah, hi, it's so nice to be here. Thank you for having us.
Hello.
Yeah, very much so. I mean, Michelle and I both are working moms and professionals, and we've got a lot to juggle. So we brought our own experiences as filmmakers, as moms to the table, right? And that's the perspective through which, we tell the film. We're trying to, create an honest portrayal of her during this incredibly tumultuous time. But, this is how we saw it. We were incredibly inspired by her leadership. And so of course that becomes a part of your decision making when you put the movie together.
It's also it produced in many people admiration towards this leader, because she's a woman surrounded by I won't say right wing, yeah, kind of very conservative men in a patriarchal society. So it's very admirable what she's done, no, or what she did throughout the 5 years she was leading New Zealand.
Yeah, I think what was so exciting for us to see is she did it without apology. She came in and she showed up exactly as who she is, which is an empathetic person, a sensitive person, and she didn't try to modify herself to fit into a male stereotype.
How does the production happen? You and Michelle, Lindsay and Michelle, you knew each other before, or did you work in other projects, or how did it happen?
We had never met each other before, and
Hello?
This project brought us together. Yes, hi. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I think your computer's lagging a little bit.
Yeah, you got a little, can you see us and hear us okay?
Yeah, could you start again?
Yes,
did you
I can
work
start
together in
again.
the past, or?
Yeah, we had never worked together before, so the movie brought us together. This is a film that's 7 years in the making. It started when Michelle and her team, had the idea of, this woman's incredible. What if we just started following her at certain important points? And then, of course, Clark, who recorded all the behind the scenes footage, which is incredible. We inherited that as well. So from there, we really, we came together, and it was a team from New Zealand and a team from the United States. And we all understood that this story would transcend politics. It would transcend New Zealand, that there were so many big themes here to explore with her story. And so we came together and, built on that intimacy, and continue to follow her here in the States and talk to her at length about her experience. So the film has had many stewards over many years, and it really was a beautiful kind of coming together of two groups of people to bring it over the finish line.
Oh,
We now know each other very well.
We do.
So much fun.
So the archival footage, I think, is very rich in the movie. How difficult was it to get it, and how important was it for you to access the archival footage that is considered historical in many ways?
Michelle, you could speak to that.
I think whilst we had this really intimate footage, we had to land it in time and place. So the archival material was critical to build the world around her, and it took a huge team. both in America and in New Zealand, to find all of that incredibly rich archive. And the editing team and Lindsay and I really felt like we didn't want just news clips. We wanted the raw material. And we talk about, one of our favorite moments is her leaving the podium, and normally the news camera would cut out, but we watch her walk away, and that's when we see the human behind the news. And so those decisions were very conscious, and the archival team did a phenomenal job, as most documentaries they do. They play a huge role.
I'm just throwing ideas out to see. For me, the film works really well and is very unique because basically because of the level of intimacy. How did you accomplish that? Besides, she might be very open and you might be very likable, the two of you and all that, but she was the prime minister. We all can have some secrets. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I think we're really lucky
So
that
who would like to?
Clark definitely, having that vantage point as her partner. I think he did a tremendous thing by picking up the camera and recording those moments in time. So we're really lucky that, he was able to capture that, because it does bring you right into this space with her, and you can really feel her emotion. And so that was, a real gift. And then Michelle's known her for years, and I've had to get to know her. So I think we just spent time building trust, and documentaries are all about access and trust. And so, there's a lot of that happens behind the scenes as well.
When my husband
I
shot a lot of
remember
the film,
sorry.
my husband and I have a production company, and he is one of the producers and a great cinematographer. And I think one of his gifts is being in the room and just disappearing. And there's a beautiful shot in the film. It's one of my favorite, where it's near the end of the film, and Jacinda's sitting while her child is, you can hear her child in the bath in the distance, and she's just unaware of the camera there, just completely and utterly unaware. And that was Leon's ability to disappear, and the trust that he could just sit and observe her. So it does take a really special team. I think those guys, Clark and Leon in the field, they have to be able to operate and not drive the subject crazy whilst capturing intimate footage. So that hats off to them too.
I will never forget. I remember when the mosque in Christchurch, I think, was attacked in 2019, I think, and her reaction was so incredibly generous and beautiful, bringing people together.
Mm-hmm.
I really admire her before seeing the movie too, already. But
Yeah.
what are the qualities that you admire in Jacinda Ardern, besides the,
I
maybe
admire her sense of humor a lot. I think she uses it deftly in her life, and it's a real superpower, to be able to have that kind of comic timing. And she brings a light and a love into the room, and you can feel that when you're with her. So that's what I admire about her.
we were all surprised when she stopped being the prime minister,
Yeah.
and there's no much information about, is there?
I think
Do
humans
you
are
know
complex,
why?
and leadership is complex. I don't think there was one singular reason. I think there were many reasons, and Lindsay and I really lent into that. We didn't want to provide an answer or try to assume an answer. And I think one of the things I really love about the film is, and you might have found this yourself, is that you're left there, really pondering all of the different impacts that she experienced in her leadership time. And I don't think we need to have one reason in life to do things. I think we leaning into the complexity of humanity in storytelling is a good thing. I don't think you have to go, and here's exactly why, there were many factors that contributed, and now she's going off and doing, extraordinary things outside of politics. So I always think of her as like this incredible person who is driven to do good for people and the world. And she had this period of time where she did that in a political sphere, and now she's carrying on doing that work outside of that.
That's wonderful. The film did really well at the Sundance Film Festival. Congratulations on the recognition you got. How important was it for you? And is the film going from one festival to another? And do you feel there is like a baby who grew up in the movie?
Yeah, we premiered about 4 months ago, and we've been, like you said, taking it on the road, and it's been incredible to see audiences respond to the movie. It's really resonating for people in a deep way, and I think especially because it's so, politically charged right now over here in the States with everything going on, that audiences are kind of desperate for something else. And and a break for a minute from how dark the world can feel, right? And hopefully this film is bringing, inspiration and hope and love and light and humor to people when they need it. And we think it is, because we're really seeing it resonate and hit audiences that way. So we're excited for the film to come out this week. It opens on Friday across the country in the United States.
That's wonderful.
And then in Australia, it premieres in Sydney this week too, which is really exciting.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. Oh, right.
Sydney
Whatever
Film
date.
Festival. It's on the 14th in Australia, which is the 13th in the US.